Wake up, buyer payer people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Good morning.
We're way late this morning.
Well, technology. I don't know. I think that there's like an Apple gremlin or something that is
Something to do with the drones, I'm sure.
It's got to have, I don't know if everyone's been paying attention to the drone stuff, but apparently we've been cyber attacked by drones.
I've been watching it. I know people are going to want my opinion on it, so I got to pay attention. So.
That is, speaking about that is something that we have wasted altogether too much time just like reviewing what people are saying about all the stuff that's happening on the East Coast. It's hilarious.
Hey, good morning, John Lamb.
Good morning, John.
So John's part of the team at DCS.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much for being patient, everybody.
Yeah.
It's like my internet wouldn't connect, and I'm the one that handles all of the board, soundboard and everything. And so it was like, this is a no-go right now, and figured that I had to restart. And don't you hate it when you restart your computer and it's like, crap?
Yeah.
All these apps want to do updates, and it's just like, I haven't used Zoom on this computer for forever, but there we go.
Yep.
Thank you very much. What do we have? It's like
crunch time.
Crunch time. Next Friday is the last podcast for the year.
Okay. For
2024. This coming Wednesday is Christmas. Is everyone ready?
No. Not everyone.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's like, I used to always have all of my Christmas shopping. She doesn't talk like that. All my Christmas shopping done by like October. And I'm like, do you want a brownie point? Because that has never been my gig at all. But she's always done it. And she's, this year she asked me to order a whole bunch of Amazon gift cards, and they came on Monday. And she was like, oh yeah. And everyone from the family that's what you're getting, because she just doesn't have the ability to get out because dad's not around to drive her around. And so it's kind of, and we have limited time, and there's not time to Christmas shop. We're getting your groceries.
You know what Amazon gift cards means? More drones. Now that means more.
Maybe what they are is like delivering major Christmas deliveries to different people all across the East Coast. That's got to be it.
It's got to be
it's got to be it. All righty.
Shall we get down to business?
I think that we should get down to business.
Hey, a couple quick announcements. So on Friday, we got dealer Calvin Ruth from Oklahoma will be joining us to talk about, he was featured as a dealer spotlight in the NIADA publications. And and we know Calvin. I'm happy to have him on the broadcast and have a chance to hear his story. He's been sharing a little bit on social media about he acquired some property to expand into, service departments. So there's a lot of great stuff to talk about. And to the kind of piggyback the same thing, we just decided on our first mastermind topic for our V8 Plus, our mastermind track in January. We got one dealer is going to come forward and share his business plan for 2025 and working on getting cash flow positive. And so we're going to have some dealers come in and help mastermind that business plan.
I love this concept.
Yeah.
Just like so much. And as we've been talking to dealers about it, they're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be fun.
Very focused, virtual groups of
really
up to 8. Great. And we're excited to get that going.
So excellent. So today, we are here to, officially just like have our first DMS that has successfully tested, balanced out with us the reporting that you asked them to do. You want to talk a little bit?
Back in June, just before the NIADA conference, we circulated an email to all the providers that we knew. We then had to add a few more, as we realized we missed some, but we did that. We copied our founding sponsors on that, and we just went to the industry and said, would you folks please create what we named a White Hat Way portfolio summary report? And we just wanted all the DMS systems to have something, because we just see, obviously in our work with V8 dealers, but with, coaching and analytics before that, and just having been a dealer myself, I just see the disconnect. There's just a big void right there where dealers have, and I'm going to show some stuff on the screen today. It's kind of an illustration of that. We just had a V8 meeting last night with one of our groups of dealers with larger portfolios.
Uh-huh.
It was just so glaringly apparent that it's a real problem, and DCS has taken a big step towards solving it with their users, right? I mean, only dealers on their system will be able to benefit, but
it's the first of many. There's some others that are we just need to do some extra testing, and then we can get them on the show as well. But DCS is the first one to accomplish this, and so Jim he wasn't able to join us live.
Yes,
so Jim did a recording of just kind of talking about the thing. And so we're going to play parts of that and then do.
Before we do that, let me kind of give a little more background. So the portfolio summary report is really, we brought it forward as White Hat Way. This is a White Hat effort. Again, our founding sponsors behind the effort to, get this problem solved. And so we're thrilled to see response. And I will just say DCS is the first one to really show us that they tested it and verify that it works and is supposed to work for both LHPH and BHPH dealers. So we're thrilled about that. And it's just an example of, what White Hat Way can do for dealers. Just, with we're just out there working to try to make dealers' lives easier. We can, let me play before you start the video. Let me show the screen quickly on this thing about the example this is an actual dealer from our V8 group. And this is just, I just grabbed a screen grab of their actual numbers. And I know these are going to be hard.
So this is a report that would be coming, you run it whenever you need to, but we suggest that it's the end of month for to look at how
they can run it for whatever date range. Obviously in V8 we're looking at monthly numbers, but whatever range the dealer wants to look at, the things ought to still produce the results we're looking for. So this is an illustration of why this is so important. Like it's for those who can't see the numbers there, and I can't read them very well, but you've got a dealer with about 2,000 accounts and about a $26 million portfolio. And their team is compiling the numbers and sending in each month. And so let me just take folks who can't see the screen through the lines. You've got opening principal balance there, then plus new amount financed, minus principal collected on the primary buy here, pay here portfolio, because sometimes people have, different portfolios sort of, or different categories of monies. And we're just looking at the primary portfolio here. Principal collected, I have principal collected now. Principal charged off is the next one. That would be the gross principal balance of the accounts at the time of charge off. And then plus or minus any other principal adjustments. If you had any write downs or something that's not classified as a charge off.
And this obviously, this dealer hasn't had any.
They don't have any.
But we have other dealers that there would be stuff in there.
Or if they do, they don't know where to find them to report them to us. So the problem we're illustrating here is that whether this dealer actually has a problem with their software, I can't say. I mean, I'm not in there trying to reconcile these numbers inside their software, but whether the problem is the actual software or whether the problem is the dealer's team not knowing where to get to these numbers, either way, it's a problem. Like if it's the team, if the software does it perfectly, but the team doesn't know where to go find the numbers, then the dealer doesn't get the information they're looking for. And I'll be meeting with this dealer.
And so this actual report now, because unlike the other DMSs that it's not live, the dealers have to come at the numbers. They have to figure out, well, DCS has created, so if you're on their system, you just run this report and it knows exactly where to find the things, and it's gonna balance out the way that it was designed to balance out. So I haven't gotten
the balancing part of this. So what it does then is it calculates. We just do a calculation. It's a quick way for us to validate that the numbers are, within a reasonable deviation before we move forward. And because obviously in V8 we're doing comparative stuff, but this is not really about V8. This is about just any dealer anywhere trying to be able to run a report that will capture all the movement and principal in their portfolio, which is typically the largest asset in their business, right? So now it calculates, okay, this is what we calculate your closing principal would be based on those numbers. And then the actual closing principal according to your report. And you can see that this dealer's off by, 2%. Doesn't sound like a big number, but it's $500,000 on a $25 million portfolio.
That's why it's important.
Also just think about from this standpoint, this dealer's sitting in a group where he's trying to compare to other dealers. And we don't know that $500,000, does it belong in charge off? Does it belong in new financing? We don't know why it's off, right? We just know that something's misreported here, and the dealer doesn't know why. right? So it's like, that's a problem. And so this is what DCS is taking a step. At least their users now will be able to go to the system, run a White Hat Way portfolio summary report, and be able to have those numbers tie together.
Absolutely.
So go ahead if you want to.
So, well, first off, though, if you all are listening to this, please go, and I'm looking for the banner. Please go to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on YouTube, Octane Group, and you can see the video for all this. Or if you're watching on social media, then you can as well. Yeah. So let me see here. We're going to go to the video, right?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to take you out of this, and then we're going to add to this. And let me get in here. So this is, there we go.
You may have to share the audio from that tab once you start playing it. Hey friends, welcome. Got a guest here with me today for our a White Hat Wednesday, and we're recording with Michael Sansone. Michael, glad to have you here.
Thank you, Jim. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, so I need to give our listeners a little bit of background on how it is that you and I came together today. So back in June of last year, we circulated an email across the industry asking DMS providers to create a report for all their users. We asked all DMS providers and all the folks, and copied a lot of people across the industry, just because I'm a guy who's been around this thing a long time. I work with a lot of dealers. I'm a numbers nerd and analyst. You know, so we're all the time working with dealers and trying to help them, you know, figure out their metrics and their portfolio performance. And so one of the things I've seen, Michael, in our industry is that it just, in so many systems, it's a real challenge for dealers to be able to, I call it reconcile, but not from an accounting standpoint, to be able to identify the changes in their portfolio over a given period of time. You know, most often we're looking at a calendar month, but I put that out there. And at the time I put out the email, I said, you know, for those of you who complete that, we'd love to have you come on a White Hat Wednesday episode of the podcast so we can highlight the fact that you guys created it. And DCS is the first at this time, the first to actually test it, verify that it works, and we're thrilled to be able to, you know, share that with our listeners and to introduce you guys to our listeners as well.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, obviously took a little bit longer than we would have hoped, but we were happy to get it done. Offer those reports to, you know, any of the prospective dealers out there, and you know, us being having our own portfolio as well. Definitely know that having the numbers match is honestly probably one of the most important pieces of the, you know, operating these businesses. So
yeah, there's so many elements. I mean, and like I said,
I want to pause that really. So the people at DCS are dealers as well.
They're a franchise operation in New Jersey, and they acquired software some time ago, and now they're building it out. They've got, I don't think he says it here, but they've got a team of 6 developers, and they have both leasing and buy here, pay here.
Yeah.
Or lease here, pay here, buy here, pay here. So
okay, so the story is going to be
necessarily doing it from an accounting standpoint. We think the accountants will also benefit from having this information, but we're mostly just trying to help dealers get this information in front of their hand and in front of their face, so that they can, you know, actually have it at their fingertips when they close a month, to be able to run that report and be able to know kind of, hey, my principal balance started at the start of the month here, my portfolio was here, I added this much principal, I charged off this much principal, and so on and so forth. We don't have to go through the minutia of the details, but it's really a nice bonus. I think people who are in 20 groups will benefit from this. People that are in our V8 dealer groups will certainly benefit from having this information. And then, you know, any user anywhere would benefit from having the ability to just know that their portfolio sort of balances. They know where all the dollars moved. And just, you know, here we are in 2024. That feels like such a, you know, a basic, simple thing, but we're not naive. We understand systems have different modules, and so collections is different from sales, which is different from inventory, and it's not quite that simple. But you guys, you know, put forth the effort and created the report, and again, on behalf of the industry, on behalf of dealers out there, we're grateful for you guys, you know, making time to create that.
Thank you. Happy to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me kind of explain a little bit of the history. You know, Michael is the COO with Dealer Control Solutions. Over the years, they've been under a couple different names, and I want to explain about that because I know a lot of the history, Michael. Like I actually worked years ago with Virginia. Her name was Witter back then. Virginia was the chief developer with a software company that I worked with, the consulting division, a software company, way back in from like 2000 to 2003. And, back then they were transitioning from DOS-based systems to Windows, application. And there've been many iterations. Now you guys are a browser-based system serving both buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here. But because of I knew Virginia and at one point met Bill Elizondo when he was with AFS dealers. So Virginia and Rick Reeves worked.
I wanted to it's browser based.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't go any more into that with DCS, but they're browser based.
The quickest way I know to explain it is that means a dealer can walk to any computer anywhere. They don't have to have it
in the world.
They don't have to have software installed. They can go anywhere. They can get to the internet. They can get to their system.
So as we're trying to help dealers become more absentee dealers, that they have the ability to pop in and take a look at everything from wherever they are, as long as they have an internet connection.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Together for a very long time, and they had built this product called AFS Dealers, and so that's where I met Bill again. And now you guys ultimately acquired that. You actually developed it for you guys are in the franchise business in New Jersey, am I right? So that you acquired that system, kind of built up what became dealer controlled leasing, because you were doing a lease here, pay here model in New Jersey. And so that became DCL. And then at one point, you actually went ahead and acquired AFS from Rick Reeves. And so now that has become DCS, which is Dealer Controlled Solutions. And I know from talking to you back when you guys.
Rick Reeves. We did a whole episode on Rick back in the spring,
which was also a White Hat Way episode.
It was a White Hat Way episode because Rick Reeves was actually pretty. He was a big player in the ideologies that he taught were a big player in as we've developed White Hat Way, what that means, and some of those pieces. So
we're doing that. But the idea was to move to a name that would illustrate that you were more comprehensive. You have both buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here, and they're all browser based.
Correct. Yeah. So Bill actually so we started as the client of AFS Dealers, operator, starting our lease here, pay here model out in New Jersey. Bill and Rick both have come to the stores. They set us up, and we had such great success with it. Loved the lease here, pay here model. Ended up, partnering with Rick and team to then distribute that to the franchise model more for as an indirect lender to yourself, similar to how we're set up at NJ Auto Lending. But then, like you said, we did end up acquiring AFS Dealers, and the majority of the clients are buy here, pay here, lease here, pay here independent. So we didn't want to, pigeonhole ourselves into just leasing, because the software, I think one of the main benefits is that it, does buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here.
Yeah. And I want to emphasize the browser-based element, because I think a lot of people, when you say web-based, a lot of people, and I find that I'm not a tech person, right? So I don't know the difference. Here's the way I typically ask a dealer to differentiate. If you could walk to any computer in any hotel lobby and hop on the internet and access your system, that's what I would call a browser-based system. Yeah. If I have to have my laptop and I have to have locally installed software, and yes, I still might have to get to the internet, but that's different. I have software on my device. In your case, anywhere I can get to the internet, I can get to your software, right?
Correct. Yep. 100%.
And so that's a big differentiator for me. And I think it's important that everybody in the industry recognize that solution is available. There are others, but to my knowledge, Michael, you guys would be the only ones who are fully browser-based, offering both buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here. Is that correct?
From what I understand, that's correct. Yes.
I certainly don't know anybody, and I'm sure that our listeners will let me know if that's not correct. But I just want to clarify on something I learned, and according to the support team at DealPack, they also have that solution for both buy here, pay here, and lease here, pay here. So I want to clarify that. I've learned
make sure that we're correct.
Since we recorded that DealPack also has an option. We're around a lot. We talk to a lot of dealers, and we work with a lot of dealers, especially through our V8 program. We meet a lot of dealers, and we're accessing different systems, and I feel like if that existed, we would know about it. But certainly we want to, make sure that folks know that that's the real difference. That's the real separator is, being able to just get to your system from anywhere, which I think is just so important, in this world that we live in, the ability to just hop in there and gain access and without having to have that certain laptop or that certain device with, the software installed. So, you guys are to be congratulated on that. But then, back to our report, I would just say that, this is such an important element to be able to know that your system can identify, like down to the dollar, where activity is occurring in your business, so that we can, for our standpoint, we mostly are using that information to help dealers measure the performance of their portfolio. They need to be able to know what moved in and out of their portfolio. If it moved out as a charge off or it moved out as a collected payment, we need to be able to analyze that and know exactly what moved where. And so this is part of what we want to to make sure that folks recognize. That's why we requested the White Hat Way portfolio summary report, so folks can know that if they become a DCS subscriber, if they end up enrolling with you and using your software, that they would be able to produce that report that tells them exactly where their principal balance started and get down to the penny. It sounds like a small thing, but what we see, Michael, across the industry and working with these dealers and these different systems is many of them, and some of them have fairly substantial portfolios. And if they're off by 3%, you're talking about six-figure deviation, and them not being able to identify where that money is in their business, right? And did it get charged off? Did it get collected? We don't really know unless that pins that stuff down. And so this is why we thought it was so important to make that request.
Yep. Yeah. No, and the report, it's available right now to all of our dealers. We have it in the report library for anyone if they wanted to run it. And any future clients, it's built, so it's there. So we're excited to get some of your clients, on looking at it.
Yeah, sure. We definitely want to.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some slides to be able to show, but they actually provided us the place where the dealers can go in DCS for any DCS dealers are listening now. And so I can show some of those, we do that at the end, but I just want to pause and explain that right now you can just go into DCS and probably look up White Hat Way, and it's going to have a White Hat Way portfolio summary report, but I'll show the DCS folks where to find it. Urge people to have a look at that. Anytime a dealer is facing a software change and looking to make that shift, we definitely would encourage them to look at DCS because of all the things I mentioned. I mean, the ability to be browser based and have both leasing and buy here, pay here, on a similar in the same platform is a real win. And so I definitely think that folks ought to have a look at that. And we don't need to get into pricing here today, but I've understood that your system is a little more affordable than some. And so, that's another plus that folks can consider. But yeah, we definitely always would say, have a look. We will make a recommendation that people have a look at that product before they make their next software pivot. And so this is why we definitely wanted to have a chance to have folks know this is, is somebody you should know and know that they're able to, identify that principle for you in the way that we recommend that, all the systems do. Maybe talk to me, Mike, about who is your ideal client at DCS? Who you guys looking to really bring? I think we covered the parts that, Michael wanted to share and that I certainly wanted to bring forward about the way, they set this thing up. And today's Michael's birthday.
Michael's birthday.
According to LinkedIn, somebody commented on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, happy birthday, Michael.
Yeah, happy birthday. And thanks again for making time to sit with us and do that pre-recorded conversation. But I want to put on the screen, and this is, I asked Michael to do this. Like, we don't do any pitching on the morning show, or we certainly don't want vendors to come around and pitch, but I asked them to prepare something if they, as a courtesy to them, since they were kind enough to prepare that.
Jim told me about this morning. I was like, what?
Yeah. So for those who are shopping software, I can't promise anything about an expiration date on this coupon code. We didn't discuss that part, but I can say that for those who are contemplating a software shift, when you reach out to the team over at DCS, which I'll show their domain in just a minute where you can find them, but just use coupon code White Hat Way, and they are going to give either the option of either no setup fee or the first 2 months free.
And that's substantial.
That's huge.
That's huge. So I considering how much a lot of DMSs charge for
Right.
setup.
Right.
That's, that's a big one right there, or 2 months free. And that takes a little bit of the sting and the headache out of doing a switch.
Of
If you
course.
do a switch.
Yeah, of course. Yep. So software transitions or migrations are often uncomfortable, but I think it's what I always tell people. It's more comfortable at 50 accounts than it is at 500 accounts. So I would just say, get in there and if you're going to do it, do it sooner than later.
Yeah.
And I think I can say the same thing about DCS that I used to say about other providers. Like, I just don't believe you're going to outgrow them. They have the capacity, and the ability to scale. So I don't believe you're going to outgrow them, especially in a browser-based situation.
Yeah.
But let me put up their domain here. This is dealercontrolledsolutions.com is where you're going to find them. And again, just mention White Hat Way. If you schedule a demo, or if you ultimately want to move forward with setting up with them, then just know that that they've got that coupon code, and just mention White Hat Way and get a little discount. So
excellent. So did you want to talk about their avatar, their ideal customer?
He didn't. I mean, this is just who we expect. It's an independent dealer who's of any size.
Okay.
I mean, I think they are they're especially interested in the dealer who is smaller. That he did say that they're kind of those people who are don't have the big budgets, and so if they they're interested in working with dealers of any size, but certainly have an aim in their own.
I would imagine smaller dealers, especially if they're doing a switch, because it is easier for everyone all around to do that than some of the massive, but they can handle growth.
Sure.
Okay.
And I would say, when we meet a new dealer, especially somebody who's brand new, contemplating getting in the business and just starting to finance their first few, or even just getting licensed to do it, we typically will give them a name of 3 or 4 providers. And so certainly DCS will be on that short list of people that we would encourage a dealer to check out before they move forward. And so this is, part of what we would recommend. And I should say here, there are other DMS providers in the industry that are working on it. We've had conversation with Mike down at AMS. They're working on it.
They're so close.
I think he told me that they really have it. We just haven't been able to verify and test it with a mutual dealer or whatever. So get that done and get Mike on the broadcast as well. But yeah, this is part of what we enjoy doing this as White Hat Way on behalf of dealers that just, can get out there and just do any little thing that we can to help make life a little simpler for them. These are busy folks, right?
Yeah. And we also want to just thank our founding sponsors for their stepping in to help with these kind of conversations and to help us further the mission of White Hat Way. And founding sponsors are LHPH Capital. So if you're in leasing, they're really great people over there. And Dealer Re, and they do reinsurance, and again, great people there. And that's
very supportive of these missions.
Very supportive of these missions. And then Pastime, and Pastime again, great people, and just really, really supportive of what it is that we are doing for the industry, and they're
helping this advance this mission that is about trust, and they're all trusted providers. They've all been in business for decades. They're well known. They have great reputation. And so
I really have enjoyed, as I troll Facebook, and so we I will troll Facebook. I troll the buy here, pay here conversations in Facebook.
Yeah,
and so it kind of gives me an ideas of some of the things that we could talk about and how conversations are moving. And so a lot of times it's like, Jim, have you taken a look at this? And it's been really cool to watch. There's been a couple of conversations recently, one around RFC and not RFC, reinsurance, and they were asking specifically about Dealer Re, and it's just so lovely to see the comments coming in from people that have worked with them, and it's just like, we really, really love working with them. They've been great to work with. And then the other one is I saw one recently on who do you suggest for GPS, and Pastime just has some really great customers again that just coming forward and saying, we've loved them, and I love those. And I and I love, because, as we look at those, because we know who's in the industry, it's like we can go, okay, vendor, poof, and then look at the dealers that are, what they're saying about the thing, and be able to say, okay, dealers really have had good experiences with just, those are just two that have happened recently with Dealery and Pastime.
And I can say about Pastime, when that kind of stuff comes up, you really want to find somebody. If you're a dealer, you want to find somebody with gray hair and ask them, because I would tell them, look, if you get great reviews from two of them, I can tell you Pastime's been around the longest. I'm just telling you that they've been around. They're the very first in our industry.
And that's actually, we because when I look at those, it's that whole having to filter out vendors. And it's interesting, because I think we've talked about it before. We've had clients that have posted stuff, and then they get all of these responses, and then Jim hops on and he's like, half these people are vendors, and he's like, really? It's like, yes. And so it makes it's really nice for when we look at it and can go, all right, so what are the dealers saying? And that just makes such a it's just so beautiful that it's like people that we align with, that they really are well loved and well respected in the industry.
So I think again, we're grateful to Michael and their team over there for producing that report for their current and future subscribers.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good thing, and I look forward to many more years of collaboration with them. We've got lots of opportunities around that way, and
absolutely.
And there was nothing transactional here. They didn't pay to do it. We didn't pay them. And so they just did it because we made the request.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in to the morning show, White Hat Way. Come January 1, we're going to have a little bit of a shift. We'll still be broadcasting on Wednesdays. And instead of it being the morning show, it will be called White Hat Ways.
Right.
And so it will be a second podcast that we'll be doing. And so the BHPH Morning Show will be a Friday only thing. Mm-hmm. And then the Wednesday will be White Hat Ways. And that will be starting on January 1st.
Apologies again for today's audio issues. So
all right. Thank you so much, everybody. And again, happy birthday, Michael. And again, we really appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day. And then we will see you on Friday with Cole Hitchcock. Have a great day, everybody.
Calvin Roos.
Calvin Roos. Sorry.